Caitlin Clark's golf debut just made me so upset with the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark just shattered another world record, and this time it wasn't even on a basketball court. The WNBA superstar stepped onto a golf course and absolutely destroyed expectations in ways that have the entire sports world scratching their heads. We're not talking about some casual celebrity golf outing where famous people embarrass themselves for charity. Clark actually broke legitimate golf records while making professional golfers look ordinary.
It is no fault of hers that I got upset. It is the fault of the WNBA because the LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did it all correct in literally one day.
But here's where things get absolutely wild. The same woman who can drain three-pointers from half court apparently has a golf swing that would make Tiger Woods jealous.
Now from this event, I have only seen and heard of positive things. I didn't hear one thing about how her fans are toxic. I didn't hear one thing about there being too much spotlight on Caitlin Clark and it should have maybe been on the professional golfers that are there. We didn't hear any of that. And those are the types of things that we have been hearing for the entirety of the WNBA season.
During her recent appearance at an LPGA Pro-Am event, Clark didn't just participate, she dominated. Her performance was so incredible that even seasoned golf professionals were stopping mid-swing to watch her play. The numbers don't lie, and they're frankly ridiculous. Clark's golf debut generated more buzz than most professional tournaments see in an entire season.
Originally wasn't even going to be televised, but there were so many fans who were emailing the organization saying, how can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event?
Her swing technique impressed golf instructors who have worked with tour professionals for decades. The precision and power she displayed had veteran caddies comparing her natural ability to players who have spent their entire lives perfecting the sport. Not only that, but Clark's crossover success proves something the sports world has been debating for years.
So the LPGA event is expanding its Pro-Am coverage around Caitlin Clark's participation. Golf Channel's Golf Today will begin 90 minutes early on Wednesday and include live look-ins. It has also been said that you will get to see Caitlin Clark's warm-up.
True athletic ability transcends individual sports, and Clark just became the perfect example. Her hand-eye coordination, mental focus, and competitive drive translated seamlessly from basketball to golf in ways that shocked even her biggest supporters. The golf world wasn't prepared for the Caitlin Clark effect. Professional golfers who have spent decades climbing rankings suddenly found themselves overshadowed by a basketball player making her golf debut.
The LPGA Tour had Caitlin Clark play, and the LPGA fans, well, the event was taken over by the ominous crowd that made sure to go get angry at everything Caitlin Clark did.
Tournament organizers watched attendance numbers skyrocket beyond their wildest projections. Merchandise sales went through the roof as fans scrambled to buy anything connected to Clark's golf appearance. What happened next completely changed everything. Clark's golf performance became the catalyst for exposing massive problems within women's sports marketing. The stark contrast between how different leagues treated their biggest star revealed uncomfortable truths about missed opportunities and organizational failures. Her success on the golf course highlighted just how badly some leagues have been mismanaging their most valuable assets.
So there are photos of Caitlin and Nelly literally everywhere, and the LPGA was so smart in doing this because they knew that there would be so many eyeballs on Caitlin. So if they put their number one golfer, who is currently leading the sport and pushing the sport ahead, if they put her next to Caitlin for the entire event, that's just great. It's great for Nelly and it's great for everyone else.
The ripple effects extended far beyond golf scores and swing analysis. Clark's golf debut became a masterclass in sports marketing that left entire organizations scrambling to understand what they had been doing wrong. The event proved that star power combined with genuine athletic ability creates unstoppable momentum across any sport. Let's take a moment to rewind and examine how two professional sports leagues handled the exact same superstar in completely opposite ways.
The LPGA, you can see when it came to them that they were happy that Caitlin Clark was there. They knew exactly the value that Caitlin Clark brought.
The LPGA rolled out the red carpet for Caitlin Clark, while the WNBA acted like she was some random bench player nobody cared about. This wasn't just a difference in marketing strategies, it was a masterclass in how to succeed versus how to spectacularly fail. The LPGA saw Clark coming and immediately understood they were dealing with pure marketing gold. They didn't hesitate, didn't overthink the situation, and certainly didn't worry about hurting anyone's feelings.
There was so much buzz online, she was trending on Twitter, all of the things, and the LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event.
Instead, they embraced the chaos and turned Clark's golf appearance into the biggest sports story of the week. Their approach was simple: give the people what they want and watch the magic happen. But here's the twist that makes this whole situation absolutely insane. The WNBA had been working with Clark for an entire season and somehow managed to mess up every single marketing opportunity. They treated their biggest star attraction like she was causing problems instead of solving them.
To the whole event, they saw how important it was that new fans were getting involved in golf, especially women's golf.
While Clark was breaking television ratings and selling out arenas, the WNBA was busy complaining about her fans being too enthusiastic. The contrast couldn't be more obvious or embarrassing for the WNBA. The LPGA understood that Clark brought massive audiences wherever she went, so they made sure those audiences had reasons to stick around. They promoted the event aggressively, created compelling content, and made Clark feel genuinely welcome. Meanwhile, the WNBA spent months acting like Clark's popularity was somehow bad for basketball.
She said what she has done for women's sports and basketball, and to have her at our golf tournament, I mean, I'm like in awe. I've got a basketball and hoping she signs it for my girls. But how cool for her to come out and support us this week and only help grow women's golf.
Now here's what really happened behind the scenes. The LPGA's leadership made strategic decisions that the WNBA had been avoiding all season. They recognized that Clark's fan base represented untapped potential for growing women's golf. Instead of worrying about existing players feeling overshadowed, they focused on expanding their audience and increasing revenue. The results spoke for themselves within hours of the event starting. The WNBA's approach was the complete opposite and equally predictable in its failure. They seemed genuinely confused about why anyone would want to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. Their marketing strategy appeared to consist entirely of hoping people would ignore their biggest star and focus on everyone else instead. This backwards thinking cost them countless opportunities and probably millions of dollars in lost revenue. What makes this even more ridiculous is that both leagues had access to the same Clark effect. The LPGA maximized every single moment, while the WNBA wasted an entire season of potential growth. One league understood modern sports marketing, while the other seemed stuck in strategies from decades ago. Here's where the story gets absolutely bonkers. The LPGA event featuring Caitlin Clark wasn't even supposed to be on television. Tournament organizers planned a quiet pro-am event that maybe a few hundred people would attend in person. Then Clark's army of fans discovered she was playing golf and completely lost their minds in the best possible way. Social media exploded with demands to watch every single swing she took. Fan emails flooded the LPGA offices faster than anyone could read them. People were begging, pleading, and practically threatening to storm the golf course if they couldn't watch Clark play. The desperation was real and absolutely hilarious. Grown adults were having meltdowns over missing a basketball player's golf debut. The LPGA had never seen anything remotely close to this level of fan hysteria over a celebrity appearance. But wait, it gets even crazier. The Golf Channel executives were sitting in meetings trying to figure out how to handle thousands of angry Caitlin Clark fans demanding television coverage. These were the same executives who usually struggle to get people interested in professional golf tournaments featuring the world's best players. Suddenly they had more viewer interest than they knew what to do with, all because a basketball player decided to swing some golf clubs. The last-minute scramble to get cameras and broadcast equipment to the golf course was absolutely chaotic. Production crews worked overtime to expand coverage by 90 minutes just to satisfy fan demand. The Golf Channel's Golf Today show completely restructured their entire schedule around Clark's participation. They even promised live coverage of her warm-up routine, which is completely insane when you think about it. Not only that, but the social media response was breaking records faster than anyone could track the numbers. Clark's golf swing videos generated millions of views within hours of being posted. Twitter hashtags about her golf debut were trending nationally nationally alongside major news stories. Instagram posts featuring Clark and professional golfers were getting more engagement than most sports content sees in months. The fan reaction proved something the WNBA had been refusing to acknowledge all season. Clark's popularity wasn't limited to basketball fans or even sports fans in general. She had transcended normal athlete fame and become a genuine cultural phenomenon. People who had never watched a single WNBA game were suddenly obsessed with watching her play golf. What happened next was pure marketing genius. The LPGA realized they were witnessing lightning in a bottle and decided to capture every possible moment. They documented everything from Clark's arrival at the course to her interactions with fans and professional golfers. Their social media team worked overtime creating content that would keep the momentum building long after the event ended. The whole situation exposed just how powerful Clark's fan base really was and how dramatically they could influence sports coverage when properly motivated. Now let's talk about the stroke of absolute genius that made this golf event a marketing masterpiece. The LPGA didn't just throw Caitlin Clark onto any random golf course with any random partners. They strategically paired her with Nelly Korda, the world's #1 female golfer and the sport's biggest current star. This wasn't coincidence. This was calculated brilliance that created marketing magic. The pairing was so smart it almost seemed unfair to every other sports league trying to figure out promotional strategies. Clark brought her massive basketball fan base, while Korda represented the pinnacle of professional golf achievement. Together, they created content that appealed to completely different audiences while introducing each fan base to a new sport. The photos of them together dominated social media feeds for days. But here's what makes this partnership absolutely perfect. Korda wasn't threatened by Clark's popularity or worried about being overshadowed by a basketball player. Instead, she embraced the opportunity to showcase golf to millions of new potential fans. Professional golfers understood that Clark's presence elevated everyone involved rather than diminishing their accomplishments. The mutual respect was obvious and genuine. The visual impact was undeniable and perfectly planned. Every photo opportunity featured both athletes prominently, creating content that worked for golf fans, basketball fans, and general sports enthusiasts. The LPGA's photography team captured moments that looked natural while maximizing promotional value. These weren't awkward celebrity appearances. They were authentic interactions between elite athletes from different sports. What's even more impressive is how this strategy attracted viewers who normally ignore both basketball and golf. Clark's crossover appeal combined with Korda's golf expertise created a perfect storm of sports entertainment. People tuned in expecting to see a basketball player embarrass herself on a golf course and instead witnessed genuine athletic ability translating across sports boundaries. The ripple effects extended far beyond the golf course itself. Sporting goods stores reported increased interest in golf equipment from people who had never played before. Golf courses saw upticks in lesson inquiries from fans inspired by Clark's performance. The economic impact reached businesses completely unrelated to either basketball or golf, but connected through Clark's influence. Not to mention the international attention this pairing generated for women's sports in general. European sports media covered the event extensively, introducing Clark to audiences who had never heard of the WNBA. Asian markets showed significant interest in both athletes, creating global promotional opportunities that neither sport typically receives. The worldwide reach was unprecedented for a Pro-Am golf event. The LPGA proved that strategic partnerships between athletes from different sports could create exponentially larger audiences than either sport generates individually. They turned a simple celebrity appearance into a cultural moment that transcended traditional sports boundaries and created lasting promotional value. Let's pause and examine the most embarrassing part of this entire situation, the WNBA's complete and total silence while their biggest star was generating massive publicity for women's sports. While the LPGA was celebrating, promoting, and capitalizing on every moment of Clark's golf appearance, the WNBA posted absolutely nothing. Zero tweets, zero Instagram stories, zero acknowledgement that their superstar was making headlines worldwide. The silence was so loud it became its own story. Sports fans were genuinely confused about why the WNBA seemed to be actively ignoring positive coverage of their most popular player. This wasn't some controversial appearance or embarrassing situation that leagues typically avoid mentioning. Clark was literally bringing positive attention to women's athletics while representing excellence across multiple sports. But it gets worse when you realize the WNBA had countless opportunities to join the celebration and expand their own brand reach. They could have retweeted LPGA content, shared photos, or created their own posts celebrating Clark's athletic versatility. Instead, they chose to act like the event wasn't happening while millions of people were talking about their player online. The contrast with how other major sports leagues handle similar situations was absolutely stark. When NBA players appear at different sporting events, the league's social media accounts frequently acknowledge and celebrate these appearances. The NFL regularly promotes their players' appearances at baseball games, golf tournaments, and other sports events. The WNBA somehow decided their approach should be completely different and predictably inferior. What makes this strategy even more baffling is that the WNBA desperately needs the exact type of mainstream attention that Clark's golf appearance generated. The league struggles with viewership, attendance, and general public awareness despite featuring incredible athletic talent. Clark's crossover success represented a perfect opportunity to introduce new audiences to WNBA basketball, but the league completely ignored the chance. Sports analysts and marketing experts were openly criticizing the WNBA's missed opportunity within hours of the golf event ending. John Hollinger from The Athletic had already written about the league's failure to capitalize on Clark's popularity earlier in the season. The golf appearance provided fresh evidence that the WNBA's marketing problems weren't improving despite obvious solutions being available. Even more frustrating was watching the WNBA's competitors successfully capitalize on opportunities the league was actively avoiding. The LPGA gained thousands of new social media followers, increased tournament interest, and generated positive coverage that extended far beyond golf circles. Meanwhile, the WNBA gained nothing from their own players' success because they refused to acknowledge it was happening. The whole situation perfectly illustrated why the WNBA continues struggling with growth and popularity despite having marketable stars and exciting basketball. Their conservative, outdated approach to promotion consistently backfires while other leagues embrace modern marketing strategies and benefit from the results. Here's the part that should terrify every WNBA executive who still has a job after this marketing disaster. Caitlin Clark's golf debut proved that her star power isn't dependent on basketball or even the WNBA itself. She can generate massive audiences and create cultural moments in completely different sports, while her own league sits on the sidelines looking confused. This independence should be setting off alarm bells in every WNBA boardroom. The long-term implications are absolutely devastating for a league that already struggles with relevance. Clark demonstrated that she doesn't need the WNBA's promotional support to create buzz, attract fans, or generate media coverage. Her personal brand has grown beyond basketball to the point where she can succeed in other sports while the WNBA gets zero benefit from her popularity. This is every sports league's worst nightmare scenario, but the damage extends far beyond just missing one promotional opportunity. The WNBA's handling of Clark throughout the entire season created a pattern of incompetence that other players and future stars are definitely noticing. Paige Bueckers and other top college players heading to the WNBA are watching how the league treats its biggest attractions. The message being sent is absolutely terrible for recruitment and player relations. Current WNBA players are also paying attention to how their league's marketing failures affect everyone's earning potential and career opportunities. When the league fails to promote its biggest star, it limits growth opportunities for every player in the system. The WNBA's conservative approach isn't just hurting Clark, it's damaging the entire ecosystem that depends on league success and popularity. What's absolutely mind-blowing is that other women's sports leagues are learning from the WNBA's mistakes, while the WNBA apparently isn't learning anything at all. The LPGA just demonstrated exactly how to handle superstar appearances and maximize promotional value. Soccer leagues, tennis organizations, and other women's sports are taking notes, while the WNBA continues making the same errors repeatedly. The financial impact of these missed opportunities adds up to millions of dollars in lost revenue, sponsorship deals, and growth potential. Every time the WNBA fails to capitalize on Clark's popularity, they're essentially handing money to their competitors while weakening their own position in the sports entertainment marketplace. The cumulative effect is staggering when you calculate the actual costs. Most importantly, this golf event exposed the fundamental problem with WNBA leadership that goes far beyond marketing tactics. The league appears to fundamentally misunderstand modern sports entertainment and fan engagement. They're operating with strategies from decades ago while competing in today's social media-driven sports landscape. The results speak for themselves, and they're absolutely embarrassing. The WNBA had every advantage possible with Caitlin Clark and somehow managed to turn those advantages into missed opportunities and public relations disasters.